All right. Good evening, everyone. We are on to our 150th episode of Book of Hours on YouTube. I'm System Chalk, and I'm trying to work my way out of a pickle. So in zero point 0.7 seconds, I should get my health back, which would allow me to generate a Hive's Lament, which basically will arrive at sundown. In addition to the Hive's Lament, I'm going to need to recover a scent and an earth sign. So for that, I can use the Whist and the Foss, which originally were set aside for the Inks of Power. And the... what do I do here? Okay, so if I... Right. No, sorry. I just needed a minute to think this through. So yes, we will restore the earth sign and the scent. I could actually do that right now, but it's not that big of a deal. 0.7 seconds is what it is. We'd use the Tryst to level it up, so that's fine. Actually, okay, so we'll take the 0.7 seconds. Okay, better now. So let's start by actually generating the thing that I need. So, drums and dances, health, earth sign, scent, Hive's Lament, beating in the heart. Drums and dances with scholar level nectar plus instrument creates a Hive's Lament. Okay, now we need to restore those. So, I guess it gives me a chance to... Oh, never mind. And then I can use the Whist in this case. Okay, so we're basically back where we used to be. Now, that's kind of assuming all of this stuff is going to work out. I still need the 2 elements of the soul for Inks of Power. We have the Gossip and we have the Savage Hymn, but it's not so clear that I have... it's not obvious that Mrs. Kill is going to give me what I need in this case. And I'm actually going to need those pieces... before the sun goes down. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to restore the Tryst. And that's basically gives me the option of using this, if it comes down to it. It is winter and the storms have tightened the seas. I am sitting before the fire in the sweet bones with a beef and potato pasty in one hand and a hot ale posset in the other. So basically what happens is, if it comes down to it, in fact, I can probably do this right now. So I could use the Tryst and the Foss to generate the 2 memories that I need from Mrs. Kill. And then I'll have this Tryst to... sorry, I'm just thinking... I'm trying to think how many trials I get with Mrs. Kill. But yeah, I can use this Tryst and Foss to generate the memories that I need, use the Fet to level up the Inks of Power, and then this Tryst comes back in time to level up Rites of the Roots. So right now we're going to see what we get from Mrs. Kill. There it is, and give me no tizzer. Mrs. Kill, as every local gossip knows, came from France to marry Mr. Kill, but there's scant trace of the continent in her accent now. So, if I give her... I'll give her one more trial with the 30 seconds, and then we'll use the Tryst and the Foss if it comes down to it. Okay, there's the scent. Another gossip, so that doesn't do anything for us. We'll still talk with Mrs. Kill, but at this point we are taking... we're taking action. So we'll do a secret thresholds and a confounding parable in this case. The last one we read from that was 108, so it is written. And again, this all sort of washes out because in 20 seconds I'm going to have the tryst that I need. Better now. Okay, we've got the earth sign, which was for this one. Seconds before we get the Hive's Lament. Regret doesn't help me. Mrs. Kill has seen more of the world than she usually lets on. Conversations with her yield the occasional surprise. A buzzing in the skull. The Hive's Lament, a song of pragmatic sorrow. Okay, so surprisingly, it's actually the rights of the roots that I'm leveling up first. Not that I'm complaining. When I thought I'd understood, I'd only begun. So the other thing that's important about this is that I was off by 1. If I'm able to do this now, I should be able to, assuming that I can work out the old moment, I should actually be able to level up Rights the Roots before the season is done. I might kind of spend 2 seasons to accomplish that, because it would be nice to have sort of the Hive's Lament set aside and then work my way up, but that's a separate question. It is written, Musgrave, 4th of the DeWolf line, writes tentatively about the Covenant of Brankrug and the legacy of the sacred inks he calls Incasta Potentialia. As the light passeth through a prism into many colors, so the great ink separateth into the lesser inks, and the lesser inks into inks minor. Musgrave coyly refuses to talk about the great inks, or else refuses to admit he doesn't know much about them. He insists that Ugol and Stargol, which can be mixed with sufficient nectar or sky aspect, are sufficient for most befitting purposes. So there's the confounding parable, which we're using for the rose. And we've got an Almanac of Entrances, a handbook of sealed and unsealed byways and shortcuts through the bounds, compiled by Willem Harries in the 1860s during his term as librarian of Hush House. Harries discusses the role played by the Legion de Soul and the Company of the Wolf in Gold in warding the bounds against outside influences. He warns that bounds travelers may themselves be considered outside influences. The Mantis, as Ys, lacks walls. Ys and the Mantis have both their gates, and there may be no gate without a wall. Thus the paradox resolves, as all those who walk and dream will learn. But the wood has neither gate nor wall, and so it is the wood whose roots may creep after us into the hours of our waking. Okay, so 20 seconds before we can work with this. We've got a stolen secret. That might be something I want to hang on to overnight. But the big one here is that we were able to do everything that we wanted to today, which was not at all assured at the start. Night has fallen, dawn will come soon. So what it really comes down to in terms of my to-do list, we've got the oldest hours were gods from blood who rose from sacrifice. That blood is always spilt on the roots, and the rites of its spilling are still remembered. But yeah, by the end of all of this, I'll only have one more. I'll only have one more lesson learned to, like, to have to level up, which means I can either, I'll probably wind up focusing on the tomes here, but basically I'm kind of back to a little bit more freedom. We're sort of halfway through winter, I guess, but it's not a major hardship that I'm getting things freed up, especially given that I thought I may not be able to level up Rites of the Roots. So actually, maybe one other consideration I have is, do any of these really help me as far as leveling up Rites of the Roots go? And I think the answer to that is no. So I'll sleep on the Stolen Secret, because that is something I can turn into a name day riddle basically at the start of the next day. Now that night has fallen, I can rest and perhaps dream on the day's doings. So there's a side of me that wants to just read Key of Night and just kind of bump that up to the top of the queue so I can be done with it. We'll see where it goes. I think I'm actually going to sit down and have a think about what memories I want to generate. The skill is now level 5. Its power aspects have also increased. The inks in which the histories are written. So Coil and Chasm won't be that hard to turn into an old moment. Well, there are easier and harder ways to turn that into an old moment. So we'll wait till the start of the day, and then I'll make some decisions. Memories fade, assistance departs, but the soul is refreshed. So as always, we will bring in Mrs. Kill. Mrs. Kill's mood always improves when I drop by. Mrs. Kill stands ready to help. You always cheer me up, she says morosely. So my best option here, I think we said that Coil and Chasm does give me an old moment. So if we have something that does give me Coil and Chasm, that goes to the top of the list. Unfortunately, I don't believe that is the case. Unbelievable. I should have been paying attention. The White Jade tablet allows me to study Rites of the Roots. Oh, well, that's fine. We'll put it into Inks of Revelation like we were originally going to and take it from there. But yeah, it doesn't look like I have anything that's going to make it easier to work with Coil and Chasm. Okay. So a minute from now, I can make a Hive's Lament. Excuse me. So I'm going to say Hive's Lament takes 3 elements of the soul. 1 to generate the scent, 1 to generate the impulse, and 1 to generate the lament itself. So I was just thinking, okay, so here's an idea. We take today, so 3 for the Hive's Lament, 1 for the impulse is 4. Or no, we don't take the impulse today. 1 for the replacement Earth Sign. 1 for the Sun's weaknesses. And then we try to make the old moment. Okay, so if I want to make an old moment, what do I have to work with? So I need to bring the health back, but that's still possibility. Okay. Yep, no, we can do that. I think that winds up being 4 memories, so we're at 4, 3, 7, 8, 9, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, yeah, we're good for today. So I'm not going... I don't think I'm going to try and actually get Rights of the Roots leveled up. I mean, I can give it a shot. It's just, it's not going to be a high priority. So fixing and mending, there's not much work on offer in Brandkrug, but I can find 6 pence worth of odd jobs. Actually, maybe let's not write that off quite yet, but I am going to get my... I'm going to get some basics in place. So let's start by getting the Earth Sign. Like, we'll get all the things that we need for the Hive's Lament first. I've already mastered this, but I could reread it and perhaps recall a memory. We'll also sniff the plant. Watchful potted plant. Not everything needs eyes. Okay, so those are going to get me my Hive's Lament. I also need the Sun's Weakness. Whoops. I've already mastered this, but I could reread it and perhaps recall a memory. Okay. So let's, so we've got the health here. Let's say this is the Earth Sign and another scale memory to generate an old moment. Then this generates the name day riddle. I think we actually have what it takes to be able to level up Rights of the Roots today. So we're going to focus today on that. Feel a little insecure about it, to be honest, but I'm going to give it a shot. Like I said, the worst that happens is we wind up wasting a little bit of, wasting a tuppence or so. Mrs. Kill stands ready to help. You always cheer me up, she says morosely. It does mean that we're not reading a book today, but I can live with that. Mrs. Kill has seen more of the world than she usually lets on. Conversations with her yield the occasional surprise. Okay. So Stolen Secret's kind of helpful because we can just chuck that into the dispensary and get the name day riddle. Conceive a mothy riddle. The old moment is the one that takes a little bit more. But it also uses the health, so I figured that gives... We could get a little bit of runway with Mrs. Kill to see if she can generate some scale memories for us. Okay, regret doesn't really help me, but we're waiting anyway. Yeah, so we'll transform the scent and the earth sign into a Hive's Lament, which will take up the health. We will then generate another earth sign. As I used to say in my youth, the day is done, and so am I, but I've earned my pay. Just trying to think, is there another way that I can make this work with the health? Not really, so... Okay, we've read the Anthropodon a couple times, so... Alright, so yes, we're gonna go generate the Hive's Lament because that... Right now the priority is on the things that I get to keep overnight if I have miscalculated. Not a beating in the heart. There we go. Feels so weird, but we're going for it. Okay. So, we use the whisk to generate another earth sign. I'm going to keep the Trist aside because we'll level up... we'll actually level up the rights of the roots off of that. Okay, so what I need to start thinking about now is scale memories. Oh, but I'm already working on that, actually. So if Mrs. Kill hasn't given me a scale memory to work with by the time I'm restoring the health, then I will read a book with scale. So I need an impulse, we're working on an earth sign, we have Sun's weakness, we're working on a name day riddle. We do not yet have a scent, so I will get that with my Arab. The old moment is the big question mark, and we're working on the Hive's Lament. I'm feeling cautiously optimistic about our chance of being able to level up Rights of the Roots in time. There's a couple of other things I can do to push the old moment to my advantage, but I'm not quite ready to do that yet. There tis and can be no tizzer. Mrs. Kill, as every local gossip knows, came from France to marry Mr. Kill, but there's scant trace of the continent in her accent now. Should also do something with the egg, but I should also open up some rooms and read some books and so on and so forth. We've chosen what we want to do for today, and we have a good chance of making it happen. Great. Mrs. Kill has seen more of the world than she usually lets on. Conversations with her yield the occasional surprise. So this is actually a pretty important one for me, because it used to be that it was the health that would allow me to get that scale. And we've actually opened up to a few more possibilities. I don't think the kitchen range will help me here. But I believe the Noctunary... No! Well, no, we put the shadow in... Yeah, I think... Coil and Chasm. So we've got 6 here. 2... Nope! Darn it! Okay, I need to think about this. So we've got 2 from the Earth sign. That brings us up to 8. Shucks. I don't think I'd have another 2 scale memory. No, we need the health for this. Although this is good to know, because even if I had the health, we'd be up to 7, then we'd be up to 9 with the earth sign. I have an idea. There's a couple of different ways I can make this work. But I do need a desk with scale. Alright, is this a way to the wood? But perhaps the wood is not a suitable place for a librarian. Oh, hang on. There's a really easy way for me to get another scale memory. I've already mastered this, but I could reread it and perhaps recall a memory. So it's a little bit of a shame I didn't think of this before, but we should be in good shape. Better now. Okay, what do I want to do with this? Okay, so I need to take stock and see what I'm trying to do. So I still need an... So we still need an impulse, so that's 1. I still need an earth sign replacement, so that's 2. We've got the sun's weakness, got the name day riddle, got ascent. We're probably going to get an old moment, but I still need to make that. And we should have a hive's lament. So I need a minimum of 3 elements of the soul, which I currently have right now. But let's buy an insurance policy. It is winter and the storms have tightened the seas. I am sitting before the fire in the sweet bones with a beef and potato pasty in one hand and a hot ale posset in the other. Derashu Quercum. In English, the title translates roughly as The Account of the Oaks. This is Nathaniel Darcy Evers' fascinating if haphazard survey of the occult properties of every tree that he can find, not just oaks. In Persia, Taxus Spicata, the yew, is called Sorkdar, which is the red tree. There they had long understood the grail root. In later times, the great king of Pontus had beehives set in the branches of the oldest of the female trees. The berries of the Pontine yew open the door to death, but the honey of their flowers opens a different door entirely. This was not the great king's Mithridate, but the one who suckled at the great yew fears poison no longer. Perhaps they should. Nathaniel is here distracted, however, by the toxic properties of certain inks. He does mention more usefully that the minor ink of power Ugol can be brewed through rites of the roots with the assistance of the aspect nectar. Okay. So we're getting closer to what I need. There it is and can be no tizzer. Mrs. Kill, as every local gossip knows, came from France to marry Mr. Kill, but there's scant trace of the continent in her accent now. A buzzing in the skull. Hive's Lament, a song of pragmatic sorrow. Okay. I'm getting to the point where I'm feeling a little nervous because we do still need to get the old moment, and we are running out of time. Okay, Unhatched hymns. Hymns attributed to St. Lucia the Eyeless, patron of glassworkers, and name of the hour called Meniscate. The hymns venerate every sanctioned hour, celebrating them as the sun undivided, but also suggesting that each hour may become the next, madrigad to watchman, watchman to wolf, and so on. The hymn of the phases celebrates the Meniscate from whom we do not turn, for the truth which is beauty, the beauty which is truth, and the perfect balance between the two. The hymn of the reflections more puzzlingly celebrates the Meniscate as the sister of Janus, mother of shadow, whose visage wondrous in emptiness can reveal all truths. So there's the Savage hymn that we've been waiting for. So let's go to the Noctonary. Now, I should have planned a little bit better. Okay, so this Tryst kind of scares me, but I definitely can give it up here. So let's go... Oh, crap. I was so close. But it's a big... It's a big push for the slot. Okay. Let's see if we can work this around. So if I go for Coil and Chasm here, I can't add a book. Ooh, yeah. All right. This gets tricky quick. So I'd have to use the Faust. Okay, so this kind of pains me to do, but I am going to use Perunculate in this case. So I'm just going to do one last check to make sure that I don't have any other options here. So it kind of feels like there might be a music option here, but I need to find something that takes nectar or scale, and I actually don't think there's a nectar or scale instrument. Well, okay, there is technically I could do this at a desk with the flute as the instrument, or fife as the instrument. I guess fife is a flute, but that causes other problems. The ingredients here, like, that's just a non-starter. It's too tough. But you know what I didn't check? Altars that might have scale. Yeah, so the Asite altar might be more amenable. So if we did Coil and Chasm here. Aha! Bingo. What soul do you want? Metal it is. Craft an old moment. Recall something lost, something scale aspected. Okay. So this is kind of my this is my final checklist. So Sun's weakness check. Scent check. Named a riddle check. Hive's Lament check. What do I need? Impulse. Earth Sign. Old Moment's on its way. So I'm going to set aside the Tryst. One, two, three, four. Need 7. 2 are on their... 1 is being built. 2 are on their way. We're good. We've got it. Okay. So, what I'm going to do here, I'm going to use the Faust to generate a... to generate the Earth Sign, because I know we're not going to generate that any other way. And we are still going to rely on Mrs. Kill, because essentially, once we get here... I can think about building the Impulse, but otherwise I'm just sort of wasting effort. And there is a chance that we might be able to do something with the remaining elements of the soul, because I'm giving up a whole bunch of things that can be repeated. But of course, all of this will be played out in tomorrow's episode. I believe that should be the last of the week. But yeah, I am a little surprised we got to do this, actually. I was going to split it over 2 days, but this is why it helps to open up some of the rooms sometimes. Anyways, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.